I'd just like to say I agree with pretty much everything you said there, actually, especially the over-promising side of things, and believe it or not, over-promising bites the agency on the arse as well as the third-party suppliers, and without getting involved in agency politics, it's generally account management that do that.
No.
And the agency itself might say you're going to get a donkey, but by the time they've scuppered off to the client and promised them a unicorn in 2 days' time, it makes it hard for everyone. But I would just say to third parties, don't get sucked into trying to overpromise, because if you overpromise, you under-deliver, and you're much better being firm and transparent from the outset and just saying, no, that's not possible, and then the account manager has to go back and have an awkward conversation. And the more we do that, clients respect that. They want honesty. They don't want to be let up the garden path.
So just to sort of fill that up a bit more and top it up, the place we found it happens most is in pitches. We've been involved in a lot of pitches, or I have anyway, and that's where we find stuff escalates. It wasn't on the brief, but it gets added in, said, oh, we'll do that. But if we're there, we can just say, no, we can't do that. You just can't do it. And we have to put them. It is an awkward situation, but it's where that decision quite often gets made in sort of my experience.
Pitches they're a slight anomaly in that obviously people get caught up in heat at the moment and they'll say pretty much anything.
Exactly.
But you just need to sort of caveat pitch at the end. Everything might be a lie, and then talk about it.
Deal with it later. Ooh. Went away.
Where are you going with that whole don't do free pitches? Like, do you think then the client should pay if you just come and do?
No, I think the agency should pay. If the agency is trying to win some business, if you think about it from a pure mathematical thing, let's imagine you're somebody from an agency and you're working on a pitch to take to a client. You're still getting paid as an employee. That agency is still having to pay you. So why should they not pay a third party who they're asking to provide information for that pitch? That's what I mean by no free pitches. It doesn't make sense. We've accumulated a lot of very powerful information in our heads. You come to this every month and you get given another download of what's happening in the Facebook activity stream or in other parts of the platform. So why should we give that stuff away for free? It's stuff that we've developed, it's our own currency, it's our own IP a lot of the time. So when we're asked to come in as an expert or a provider in this, that should be recompensed.
Just to sort of go from our perspective, what I've seen several times, not every time, most times this doesn't happen, where agencies have brought us in, asked us what's the best idea, and said, right, we're not going with you. Lo and behold, we see that idea come out live from that agency 2 months down the line, and
sometimes
it's exactly,
which is really, really annoying.
So and we've got a lot of experience in this. I mean, I built the first Facebook app I did was 4 years ago now. So this was before the appy came out. We did an app for scraping people's photos off Facebook for people going into events. So we could actually get your photo on the event door before you came in. And this was in university, so before like everybody else used it, and this was say 4 years ago. So we built up a lot of knowledge of what does and doesn't work on Facebook. And a lot of the time agencies just want to try and extract that, and they see it as coming in to pitch to them as a way of extracting it, and then they go off and build it. We've even had, or you said you've had several agencies come in and ask us to advise the tech team. Yeah. How would they construct it from a technical back-end point of view? That's just taking the Michael.
How I would do it. Which is just fabulous. Because you just go, well, now why would I do that? And why would you want to know? But yeah, I mean, that's what I mean by no free pitches. If you want our help to win the business, then fantastic. Basically. We're not going to charge you the earth. We might even do a discounted rate. But actually there should be some financial transaction in there, because the agency is still paying its staff to do it. So why should they get almost a free, overqualified intern to help them win it?
This is a little off topic, but then on to the other topics before. I just was curious about your position on moderation in social media and the social media environment.
On some of the campaigns I've done, some of them don't use UGC, use generated content, so not a problem. Like, they can do whatever they want on that, that's fair game. On the ones which do use UGC, like we're running one at the moment, I won't mention it just in case, but we use post moderation, not even post, so preempt, the last one, reactive, because we just generally get too much UGC to respond to. One of the campaigns we're running, we're probably holding 1,000 to 2,000 entries an hour, or one of them even peaked at that a minute. We can't moderate that. Yeah.
I guess it's more about people expecting the social media arena to be a public one.
Yeah.
And therefore, would that piss a lot of people off knowing that their stuff's being moderated and therefore cut from a public?
I would.
What it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So.
I know Dom really well, and I sort of worked with those guys in the past. And I haven't had this discussion with them, so I'll just have it one-sidedly here. I actually think that brand protection stuff is not necessarily what the social space is about. I think if somebody has something to say about a brand, about their experience of a brand, then they're entitled to say it. As long as it's not defamatory or libelous or whatever, they should have a chance to say it. Because it's only by listening to your customers that you can improve what your brand can do. Why would you not want to listen to a really interested focus group? Because if you're upset enough about a brand to say something about it on a social space to your friends, then you're probably actually upset enough to say it to the brand directly. So what they can do is they can use this social space as a really good way of capturing sentiment. And I love the fact that you talk about sentiment and things like that, because that's what's going on there. And so I would tend not to moderate out that sort of stuff. The brand protection stuff, I think is sort of, if it's defamatory of the brand, then it's important to do.
So.
But it's also important, in the whole Del Sups incident that sort of has been bandied around through, vast numbers of books like Charlie Lee's book, it's a really important thing. Dell went on blithely, sucking, because it wasn't listening and it was trying to close that blogger down. And then suddenly they realised that they could speak to them, they could engage with them, and then if they asked their consumers what they wanted out of Dell, they actually got a better customer retention out of it. But it's important stuff.
So one of the other things we found is that some of the best campaigns, you actually don't open up the social graph, you confine it. And there's a lot to be said for restricting people to just knowing what their friends are doing and sort of basing it around friendships they already have. And if somebody comments about a brand negatively just within their friendship group, it's kind of contained. They will pass that message on anyway. They know each other's phone numbers, emails, anything like that. So a lot of the campaigns, it doesn't really matter that much. I won't say it doesn't matter at all, but a lot of the time it's contained anyway, because a lot of the better campaigns just relate to your friends. Certainly within Facebook, it tends to work quite well, but it depends on the brand entirely. Facebook pages, very dangerous game because they're totally open and anyone can chuck in their thoughts.
We could point just to back you up on that.
Yeah.
I did a Twitter campaign for a developer community, and actually actively throughout the campaign spammed them saying, if you are not a developer, we recommend you leave. Like throughout the campaign. And within a couple of weeks, it just went to just hardcore developers, and more people kept joining. They went, wait a minute, this is for us. So actually by kicking people out, you're getting the people in there you want to be in there. Because they'll respect you sort of thing. Well, they're not just here to get a high tweet number and be a Twitter holic and stuff. They're actually here for, succinct reasons.
Yeah, we did a similar thing in the real world actually at the Guardian for the Rewired State Hack Day, just people coming together to make prototypes to the government, where it was for coders. People who weren't coders were not supposed to be in there. But if you sort of snuck in, and the Guardian has these lovely green stickers you can put on something that says it's rubbish, and so we put it on people who aren't coders. And they instantly stopped bothering the coders. And so there are ways in communities where you can do very sort of subtle things. They're quite jovial and quite jokey. Say to people, actually, you know what, this isn't necessarily a space that is yours to inhabit because people are having a discussion here. And I think the interesting thing about social networks is that if you compare it to places like Dig and Slashdot and things like that, significantly lower trolling level than you get in those communities.
Cool. Just one last question.
I've got to ask this question, having worked we've been indie developers and now working in a larger agency, doing a lot of integrations and stuff anyway. And I completely agree with the over-promising and some of the other points, but have you actually managed to charge anyone for a pitch, especially in the
Yes.
side? Okay.
Yes.
And
I'll second that. I'd happily pay for a bit. I mean, we pay third parties to print stuff up, illustrators, TV companies to edit reels. I mean, there's absolutely no problem with it. I actually believe you should charge clients for pitches because often they use it as free consultancy.
Yeah,
So I agree. Absolutely. No, I think sort of in a way, in this climate, you have to do it as well. Because you are giving away your knowledge a lot of the time.
Great.